Well, well, well. Look who came crawling back. It was me. I came crawling back. A lot of you guys have been asking, where has the one who drinks gone? The answer is, I've been what the kids are calling depressed. But, much like college girls immemorial, I shall be answering my existential dread by way overzealously celebrating Cinco de Mayo. So what does that mean for you? Margaritas. Now, so today, we're going to be making 3 margaritas. The classic margarita, the margarita that I drink when I'm just in a rush, and the margarita I drink when I don't care what anybody thinks about me. These are the important 3. Now then, to start, we're going to do the classic margarita. Now you can use any sort of orange liqueur you prefer. I'm going to go with Curacao today, but I also have a triple sec. Triple sec you're going to want to use if you prefer your margaritas a little bit sweeter and a little bit more on the orangey side. The dry Curacao, it complements the sourness of the limes a little bit better in my opinion, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. First things first, we're going to need our glass. Boom. Now it's up to each person whether they prefer their rim salted or sugared, but as a general rule for me, if it's not going to be frozen, I like it salty. If it's going to be frozen, pour some sugar on me. Thank you, Def Leppard. But how do we rim a glass? That's important. You're going to start by cutting a lime in half, and literally all you have to do is rub the outskirts of your glass with lime juice. Now, everything's going to stick to the side, and you'll have a nice salty rim. Let's go ahead and roll it. So once that rim is nice and lime juiced up the whole way around, or honestly, however much you like. If you want to have the option to do a little bit of salt on one side and then have a normal sip on the other side, then just lime half your glass. Literally, we have a plate of salt here, and you're just going to press the rim into the salt all the way around, or however far you want to go. Nothing crazy here, but makes a huge game changer when really getting the margarita experience. We'll just brush off some of the excess here. Nice and rimmed. So now it's time. What actually goes into a margarita? Well, nice and easy. We're going to have 1 ounce of dry Curacao, 1 ounce of lime juice, and 2 ounces of whatever your brand of tequila is. Some people will use Añejo, some people use Respacito. I'm going to El Padrino. It's a nice agave tequila, and I like the way that it's got a little bit of a extra oomph to it. So first things first, you gotta get some ice. Boom. We're going to start with 2 ounces of whatever tequila you want to use. You can be a little heavy-handed if you want. I won't judge. Next, you're going to do your dry Curacao, 1 ounce. And then lastly, put in some lime juice. 1 ounce. Now, again, I don't judge, but if you want to have the best possible margarita, you're going to want to fresh squeeze those limes. The bottled stuff, it's just not the same. I promise you, you won't have the same experience. And that's all there is to it. We're going to shake it up. We'll strain it in. And we'll have our margarita. Now here, we won't need our fine mesh strainer because there's nothing really in the drink that we're not trying to put in the glass. We're gonna use a normal strainer just because we already have the ice in there. It's gonna be watered down. I mean, it's a margarita on the rocks. So, and then we do a nice, simple pour. Now, some people will add a lime wedge. I've seen orange wedges. I've even seen lemon wedges. So today we're just gonna go with a nice, simple lime wedge. Nothing too crazy. Always fits in a nice margarita. I could not have messed that up more. It's fine. And there you have the classic margarita, salt on the rim. I mean, it's just so good. It's refreshing, it's sweet, it's salty. You get just a nice combination of all the flavors here. And it just honestly never lets me down. Alright, now on to my personal favorite margarita. Now it's time for my favorite margarita. I've always called it the smoky margarita, and to be honest, I've always thought that it was missing a little something, but I couldn't quite figure out what. So I want to thank Anders Ericsson, a fellow YouTuber who makes cocktails, and introduced me to putting jalapenos and muddling at the bottom of your glass. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to go ahead and toss these jalapenos into our tin. Take our muddler. You're just going to muddle them into the bottom. It's going to add a little bit of spice, and the smokiness, they're going to combine into a flavor profile that, I mean, it's going to surprise you. It's going to kick your butt, but it's so good. It is worth every single bit, I promise you. So now that those are muddled, we're going to go ahead and switch over to, this time, some mezcal. Mezcal is very similar to tequila. It's just a little more smoky. It's a little bit more flavorful. It's definitely not for everybody. So if this is your first time trying mezcal, maybe see if you can get a sample at your local store, or, you know, just see if you can borrow some from a friend. It can surprise a lot of people, and the bottles are not particularly cheap. But what we're going to do is basically the same thing you did with a margarita, just this time with some mezcal. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 ounces. This delicious mezcal. We're going to do 1 ounce of lime juice. And we'll cap it off with 1 ounce of some dry curacao. This one, I would understand a little bit more. If you're trying to balance out the flavors, we've got a lot of smoky, we've got a lot of spicy going on. If you want to go to the triple sec, I totally understand that, add a little bit of sweetness, but I'm really leaning into the smokiness of it. So we're still going to stick with the dry curacao. And now, just as before, we're going to shake it up. So 2 things are important about this one. Because we're getting those darker, smoky flavors, instead of rimming the glass with salt, I've got some dark red chili powder here. And you're just going to press it the whole way around. I find that the smokiness from the red chilies really just complement this flavor profile excellently. Same exact style that we did, just a different substituted item. Oh yeah. Brush off a little bit of the excess here. This glass was not made for pressing, but I thought it would fit my glass, or my drink well. Then we're just going to do our double strain here. And that was important piece number 2. We are double straining this because now there's some chunks. You don't really want the jalapenos to fall into your drink. It just adds a texture that you're not really looking for. But that's okay. And you're going to do a nice clean pour. Oh yeah, this one's going to be a beauty. And there you have your smoky margarita. Let's give her a sip. Oh boy. Whew! I don't use spice very well. I'm a little bit notorious for that. And even though this is spicy as hell and I'm dying inside, it's incredible. If you like spice, and it's Cinco de Mayo, so you better be doing at least a little bit of spice. You gotta try this one out. Now we're gonna move on to our third and final, my margarita that I drink when I don't care who's watching. Now then, on to my go-to personal favorite shameful margarita. And that's just a classic frozen mango margarita. So, we're gonna put it in a blender. Don't worry, I won't make you listen to it. You're gonna fill some ice, do about a cup, cup and a half. Then, you can do a cup, cup and a half of a mango. Again, I use frozen here because, well, it's easy. But fresh mango, next level. So if you can find some fresh mango and you find you have the patience, I encourage you, make a frozen mango margarita with fresh mangoes. What else do we need? Well, the same thing we need in every margarita. That's gonna be 2 ounces of tequila. We're gonna do 1 ounce of lime juice. We're gonna do 1 ounce. We're gonna do triple sec this time, because just like I mentioned at the beginning, triple sec's a little sweeter. It's a little less dry, which we kind of want that sweetness for a sweet frozen margarita. So, suck it, Trebek. And then lastly, we're going to add a little bit of a secret ingredient here that is highly underrated. Agave syrup. I use organic. To me it makes a difference. You probably might not notice it, but we're going to do about a ½ ounce, maybe even a little on the sweeter side. We'll do 3/4 ounce. Some nice agave syrup. Oh. Basically, we're just adding sugar. So we're taking a sweet margarita, adding a sweet liqueur, adding some sugar, and as if that was not enough, I feel like there's one thing missing. What could it be? Sugar. So, we're going to go ahead and rim our glass, just like we have every other time, except this one, we're rimming with a little bit of sugar. I'm even breaking out my fancy frozen margarita glass. Yes, that is a cactus. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just rub the edge of your glass with lime. You don't have to waste any lime, so, you know, before you squeeze, after you squeeze, just rub your glass. And then we're going to roll it right through my plate of sugar. Now, if you don't like sugar, that's fine. Obviously, salt always works, or nothing works if you really aren't interested. Or, honestly, even the dark red chili powder goes fantastic. Now that that's nice and rimmed, we're gonna go ahead and lock this bad boy in. And I'll see you guys in about 30 seconds to a minute. Brutal honesty time, guys. I put in a little too much ice, so I added a little bit more tequila, a little bit more triple sec, a little bit more sugar, a little bit more lime juice. This is going to be a lot of mango margarita. Dang. But anyways, it's all blended. We're just gonna do a nice pour of this slushy goodness. Oh. Honestly, it's a thing of beauty. And there you have the frozen mango margarita. Guys, it's so good. It's not fair. How can this be bad for you? There's fruit in it. Yeah, that's about all it's got going for it. But anyways, this is my favorite. When nobody else, when I don't care what anybody else is watching, this is what I always get. And no restaurant will make it better than you do. I guarantee you that. So, what did we learn today? Classic margarita, always good. Can't go wrong. It's Cinco de Mayo. But, if you're feeling adventurous, go a little spicy. Do that spicy, smoky one. Mezcal, jalapenos. If it's a little much, you can add a little bit of agave in there too. But, for me, tomorrow, I'm going to be drinking just so many mango margaritas. It's going to be a problem. Anyways, I thank you all very much for watching. I realize that the content has been less than frequent, but I'm going to keep making videos. So, for now, my name is Jonah, and I'm the one who drinks.